You and me, my friend. We've come a long way, haven't we? I don't know when this relationship started, but it's been going on for a while. It's been getting a little bit noticeable lately. Because you have done something that will make quite an impact. You see, you have given an opinionated man an audience. You have given him a platform to speak. You know, the current year, one of the biggest privileges that a man can have is to have his voice heard by other people, you know? Because it seems like this day and age of the internet that one's opinion gets propagated more easily should he have an audience online. And the people who don't have this, no matter of their work experience or their expertise or their intelligence, their voices are drowned out. But mine isn't, for some reason. For some reason, there's a few people listening to everything I say online. For whatever reason it was that you decided to follow me. When people do want to listen to what I have to say, I guess that's a privilege that I cannot refuse. You listen. Hey there, my dear followers, fans, subscribers, or whatever it is that you prefer to call yourself. I was having a bored little moment today in which I had nothing better to do. So I was like, since I have some free time, why not make a quick video? So it's not going to be about moths today. Today I'm going to be answering a question that's commonly asked to me on YouTube, and that is, Bart, why is your YouTube channel demonetized? Why is my YouTube channel demonetized? And I guess it's not strange that some of you guys are bringing this question a lot. Well, actually it's not you people who are bringing this up, it is me bringing it up. Because I'm sure some of you noticed the e-begging, for a lack of better word, on my channel, and are probably curious about that and why I do that. And you're probably also curious about the backstory, about why my channel is demonetized and why it happened. So, since I'm a little bit bored, and since I'm preventing answering the same question over and over again in the comments, I was like, hey, why not make a video about it? And the next time in the future that somebody asks me this question, instead of having to type comment number 50, I can just show them the link to this video and they know what's up. So I'm going to answer you why this is. Here is the story of how my YouTube channel got demonetized. And I'm also going to talk about being a YouTuber and finances. This is my mini-series where I vlog about anything I want, just to get things off my mind. So you'll have to forgive me for not restricting myself to that single question and rambling on a little bit, because that's what I like doing. I like talking. I'm a talkative, opinionated guy, and today it's story time. Well, first let me give you some history lessons here, because on YouTube a few years ago, it was in 2017. I don't know when you're watching this video. It could be the moment I uploaded it. It could be 5 years after I uploaded it. So I'm just going to say 2017. There was a lot of drama going on YouTube. It was also by the name of Elsagate. And what was happening is that a lot of people were making videos to clickbait children into watching their videos, and these were copyrighted. They usually used copyrighted characters that are very popular with children, such as, for example, Mickey Mouse, but a lot of Disney characters, for example, like Elsa from Frozen. You'd be surprised at how popular Elsa is among young girls and children. But also things like Spider-Man, basically any character, Peppa Pig, any character that children really want to see. And what these people did is they made inappropriate videos using these copyrighted characters. And some of these videos actually contain some violent and even borderline sexual content, or just generally very weird things like Mickey Mouse visiting a doctor and getting injections, or whatever, Spider-Man having a date with another character and doing dodgy things, or just really weird clickbait like Elsa from Frozen with spiders crawling all over her body. It's really weird. It feels absurd to tell you about these things. You have to witness them to know what I'm talking about. And now you may wonder, what would be the motive behind doing such a thing? Well, the truth is, children seem innocent, even if they're young, but they're really not. Children, no matter if they are 5 or 10, are also curious about scary things, about violent things. Think about why Tom and Jerry used to be so popular. It was basically slapstick. These characters were shooting each other with guns and beating each other up. And to children, that's really hilarious. Children will click on funny things, on scary things, or it was basically just clickbait designed to bait children into watching these videos. And you may be surprised, but the majority of the viewers on YouTube, well, not a majority, but a significant portion, maybe like 20% or more, maybe 30-40%, are underaged. So in fact, a significant portion of people on YouTube are below the age of 12 years old. And some of these kids, in the age of technology, they have iPads, they have computers, they have smartphones, they have tablets, which they use to browse online. And this led to a giant shitstorm. Advertisers were outraged that they were paying for their advertisements to feature on videos like that. So YouTube decided to change its policies. Since then, a lot of censorship has been introduced on YouTube. And what also happened is YouTube started reviewing literally all the channels that were on YouTube were under a manual review. And some of them were approved for monetization and some were not. My channel was not approved for monetization that day. Now, why was that? Actually, I'm going to say, so far by telling you this backstory, it sounds like I'm blaming it on this event, but it's not true. I don't blame it on the Elsagate drama, but it had to play a part in it, because that's why my account was reviewed for monetization. But there was also a true reason about why it was not approved for monetization. And that's because I used copyrighted music in some of my videos. So that's completely my fault. I used copyrighted music in some of my videos. Now, using copyrighted music alone is not allowed by the policy of YouTube. Just my camera has some problem focusing, but that's okay. You can understand what I'm saying. Using copyrighted music on YouTube can lead to consequences, but the way that it happened to my channel was really unique. Because usually if you upload a video with copyrighted content in it, then the company that owns this material can file a copyright claim against you. And you are able to dispute this claim. Basically, you are able to fight this claim and saying, no, this is fair use, or no, this is not copyrighted, or you can agree. In exchange for that, you can, if you accept the copyright claim, you're basically saying, okay, sorry dude, I used copyrighted content. And you are able to make changes. For example, if you use copyrighted music, you can change the audio. YouTube gives you an option to do that. Or remove the video. Or in some cases, the video is even allowed to stay up, even if it has copyrighted content. But in this case, even if the video stays up, then you're not allowed to profit from it. And it's basically the video, but not your channel. Only the individual video is demonetized. So some of you may be saying, okay Bart, so you got demonetized for using copyrighted music on your channel, which is a stupid thing to do. I agree, it's my fault. But I was giving you the backstory because usually YouTube doesn't instantly demonetize your channel if you use copyrighted music. Because the main course of action is copyright strikes. If you receive a few copyright strikes, then you can dispute them. You are able to remove the audio or remove the video. And if not, if you don't comply, then they may file a strike against you. Now, each YouTube channel can have 3 copyright strikes. And if you have 3 strikes, then you are banned from YouTube. But it takes a long time to get 3 copyright strikes, because these strikes only last for 19 days and they disappear after 19 days basically. So for you to be punished by YouTube for using copyrighted content, well, you have to ignore several warnings in the same process. And what happened to my channel is basically that YouTube skipped the whole, well, I don't want to call it a legal process, because basically what happened to my channel is I wasn't given this opportunity. I wasn't given the same opportunity that most people would have been given on this platform, right? Because if you use, I mean, it was stupid. It was my fault for uploading that. But on the other hand, they didn't really give me the benefit of the doubt. Well, that's not a good way to say it. I'm struggling a little bit with English. They didn't follow their own policy, because this was a special review that YouTube did. Basically, they audited my channel because of ElsaGate. They audited all the channels on YouTube, and a lot of people got demonetized. It's not just me, but they also demonetized videos about controversial things like war, like politics. You are unable to make money on YouTube now if you discuss war, if you discuss politics, whatever. Demonetized. They're basically saying this content is not advertiser friendly. And that's basically, I'm partially blaming myself, while also thinking, I still think that YouTube should follow their own policies. And I think my case was really a special one, because like I said, the whole copyrighted content policy was basically bypassed, and the three strikes that you can get were bypassed, and instead of that they just instantly demonetized it. So that's the backstory. If you're a YouTuber, don't use copyrighted content. I know it's dumb, but I was young. I am still young. The moment that I'm making this video, I'm a grown ass man. I'm 26 years old. But you should know that I've been on YouTube for about 6 years. So at least I started uploading videos when I was about 20 years old, maybe. Although I didn't take it seriously at first, but it doesn't matter. Because if you start out young and inexperienced and don't take it seriously, then you can screw up things that come back to bite you in the ass later in life when you are older and more mature. Because I really didn't know how YouTube works. So in fact, I have only started to take it seriously since very recently. So that's the backstory. It was my own fault, but it was also not my own fault, because despite using copyrighted content, which is clearly against the rules, I was not given the fair process that YouTube usually grants every channel. In fact, if you make a new channel and you put copyrighted content on there, your channel would not be demonetized like mine would have been. For the sole reason that your channel will have the 3 strikes first, and you'll be able to make adaptations. And for me, I didn't even get a warning. Basically, I just got a message one day, it's boom, it's gone. So now you understand the backstory of all of this, right? So, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm also going to talk about being a YouTuber and what implications this has for my channel. So some of you may be wondering, am I upset about this? Am I upset about this happening? Well, yes and no. The first thing that I want to say is that I am not a YouTuber for the motivation of getting money. So I'm not doing this for money. And does it bother me that my channel is demonetized? Yes, it slightly bothers me, but it doesn't really bother me because I'm missing out on the money. It bothers me because I wasn't given the fair process that YouTube gives other channels. That's why it rather bothers me. You know, it's the unfair treatment is what bothers me more than just the material loss. So, but I think now that I have come to terms with the fact, it has not discouraged me from making videos. Because, as I said before, I'm not doing this for money actually, and I probably never will. Not at least my prime motivation for doing it is not money. But I've been thinking a little, and I think there is also a lot of potential in, at least I have found a lot of success in crowdfunding. And that's the reason I've been this is literally the reason that I've been getting this question constantly, is because on some of my videos I put like a reminder in the outro, usually at the end of the video, saying something like, if you like my content, then please consider joining my Patreon or helping check out the links in the description and help crowdfund me and my channel. Because I have actually found a lot of success in crowdfunding. In fact, I think what I'm receiving in donations is probably at the moment it's more than I would have made from just advertisements on my video. So in fact, right now financially I am better off than someone who has advertisement. And why is this? Apparently it's because for some reason my viewers seem to be very involved with the channel, you know. In fact, I probably have more sponsors than some big channels that have 50,000 subscribers or more. With my, at the moment that I'm speaking, I have 5,000 subscribers, getting more funding than some big channels do that have 10 times more subscribers than me. And I think that has a lot of potential, because if you are demonetized, if you are monetized, yes, then YouTube can basically tell you what to do, because they can take away your income. They can say, I don't like this content, demonetized. This is too controversial, demonetized. But also this is copyrighted, demonetized. We don't like you talking about this, demonetized. They can do this to me. Of course, I still have to follow the rules of YouTube. I cannot upload violent things or really offensive things or hate speech. But I have more independence and creative freedom than most other YouTubers, because most other people are scared of, oh no, I'm getting demonetized. YouTube doesn't want me to say the F word. I can say it. Fuck, you know? It's not, I don't want to be edgy, I don't want to swear in all my videos. But if I want to, I can, without any repercussions, without YouTube saying, hey Bart, it's time to behave yourself, because the algorithm detected some swear words, so you're demonetized. Nope. The people who are watching this channel, they got my back. And I've also been thinking, you know, I think it also has a lot of potential because it offers a lot of freedom. Offers a lot of freedom. I would like, first of all, I want to say that there's a lot of people on YouTube who want to see this as their occupation or basically their main source of income. Well, in my case, what I really want to do is, first of all, I want to invest it in my channel. In fact, at the moment, I have invested most of the netto things that I gained from YouTube. I invested it in getting new equipment. For example, the new camera that I got this year. I'm investing it in host plants for my mods and getting better species, and also for editing software, stuff like that. But I was like, I think that there's a lot of potential, because imagine if someday that my channel would grow to a certain size, that it would replace my income. Now, first of all, I want to say being a YouTuber is a very shitty occupation. Even if I made, in theory, even if I made millions on this platform, then I still would not want to be a full-time YouTuber. I really don't, because it's very unpredictable. YouTube is a horrible partner to work with. They're really inconsiderate. Unless you have millions of subscribers, they really don't care about you. YouTube is also very schizophrenic, in the sense that being popular online doesn't last. Because let me ask you, do you know some of the biggest YouTubers from 10 years ago? I mean, we know who the biggest people are right now. Most people will know who PewDiePie is, for example. He has the 100 million subscribers. But other than that, I think some of the most popular people who were the biggest YouTubers a few years ago, people have forgotten about them today. And that's because you can be popular online for one day, and the next day, poof, you can be deleted. In fact, if YouTube wants to, they can delete your entire channel if you do something really stupid and controversial. But even if you are not doing anything stupid, you're a well-behaved person, a respectful person who knows the rules, then still you have to consider the fact that your popularity is probably not going to last forever. And in that sense, being a YouTuber is a very bad career choice, and I'm aware of that. I'm using it to supplement my life, and I'm using it to supplement all my projects, but I will never make it my main occupation. Oops, that sound that you're hearing, I'm sitting next to a refrigerator. In fact, it's a freezer for my frozen insect specimens. That being said, I did have a very good idea. Because I think YouTube has a lot of potential if I think the main appeal for me is the freedom that it gives to me, because if people have your back financially, then you have a lot of freedom. I mean, if you wanted to, if you were really lazy or just an asshole, you could probably spend all of that just on energy drinks and pizza. I mean, I could use it to buy Monster Energy, but I have a better idea for what I want to use it for. And I think it would be really interesting to have like a YouTube channel that that supports my work with insects. Because, being an online, this is the age of influencers, okay? Every stupid 10-year-old kid today wants to be an influencer, but if you think about it, having an audience to talk to, which could be thousands of people, is really a massive privilege. Now, I'm not pretending to be some kind of famous guy. Okay, I have like 5,000 subscribers. It could be more in the future. But I'm far from being really out there, I'm well known, I guess, in the insect community, but outside of that, no, not really. But my point here is that a lot of people use this power and influence to sustain themselves. And it's okay if you are successful online. There's nothing wrong with making a living from that, I guess. But I cringe when I see these big influential YouTubers who are supposed to be role models being really shitty and narcissistic and wasteful people, sitting in their villas, going on shopping sprees for $10,000s and calling it content, or doing these very disgusting mukbang videos where they shovel kilograms of food in their faces. And this is going to sound really, really cheesy, but if I were ever to be in that position, I would use it for good. I wouldn't want to live a selfish life like that. And I came to think, because my channel is really growing now. I think in a few years I will definitely have more than 10,000 subscribers. I think at some point I will reach a point where it perhaps can sustain me and many of the things that I do in real life, instead of, having a normal job. And it's only recently since I started thinking about that, because it's only recently since a lot of people started watching me. And this is what I would really like, because YouTube has the ability to give me something that is really appealing, and that is freedom. Now, I'm going to explain you how this works, because you have to understand that all my life what I wanted to be is an entomologist. And I am slowly getting to the point where I am able to work with insects as a profession, and in some cases even scientifically. But the work field of entomology also is a mess. It's because first of all there are very little jobs. Very, very hard to get work with insects, and if you do, it's not going to be what you imagine. Because when you are young, you think, wow, an entomologist is like a person who studies the most beautiful butterflies and moths on earth. Sorry dude, but there's no money in butterflies or moths. They are pretty, but no, but I mean, it's possible if you are an academic, if you are a researcher, and you are very good at begging for a fund grant, then you can perhaps get to work with your favorite species. But the chances of this are very slim, and even if it happens, then there will be a lot of things working against you. First of all, money isn't free. If you want to do research, then you're going to have to beg for it. You'll have to justify your research and show that there's potential, show your talent, and show that your research benefits the greater good. Most people who have a background in biology or entomology, they go to various fields including pest control, because there's a lot of money in agriculture. Fruits and vegetables and other plant-based products are still the biggest export products in the world, probably. And finding creative ways to control the insect pests that threaten these crops is probably one of the biggest entomological industries there is. Another one is researching disease and vector control. Diseases like malaria, which are spread by mosquitoes, which are conventionally insects, is very important. So if you are a talented entomologist, you will probably end up working with either pesticides and pest control, finding ways to stop insects from damaging important crops, or vector control, basically studying harmful insects and the diseases they spread. And maybe very few, maybe like 5% or less, they will get to work with their favorite insects. But honestly, the world experts on the insects that I study, which are mainly silk moths to Saturniidae, some of them are as an occupation. They are a biology teacher, or even architects in some cases. May surprise you, but these people are not getting paid for their work. It's a passion for them. And some of literally of the top experts of silk moths and hawk moths, they work at schools, they are teachers, they are architects. In some cases they work in museum collections and their research is funded by museums. Which in case they are very lucky, but still not full-time working, well, of course with specimens, but not in the way that you imagine that it would be like to work with animals. And that's where I got the idea of the fact that YouTube, imagine if you could sustain yourself with YouTube full-time. Just imagine that, okay? Think of the things that you could do with that time and freedom. And I think it's sad that this time and freedom is often wasted on some of the crazy narcissists that attract the most attention on this platform. But, you know, I'm not going to count on it for it to happen, because you never know what life is going to be, and I don't know what's going to happen 1 or 2 or maybe 10 years from now. YouTube could be entirely different, the internet could be entirely different, the world could be entirely different, so I'm not going to think about it. Yet I know that there's a small chance that it will happen, a few years down the line perhaps, that YouTube could sustain me and a large part of my life. Now if that were to happen, I would definitely use those funds for being an independent researcher. And this is where the power is. Because if I could find a way to sustain myself by being a YouTuber and not having to work too often, then I could basically be a super powered entomologist. Because I would not have to beg anyone for a research budget. I could go to the country that I want to go to to study the species that I want to study. If you're a scientist and you want to import a certain species to your country, that's a hell of a difficult thing to do. Getting the permits, complying with scientific protocols, for example the Nagoya Protocol, which talks about exchanging biological or genetic materials between countries, is a very strict protocol. Just try to get an exotic animal out of Brazil or any country in South America, for example, as an American or European scientist. I will tell you it's almost impossible. Unless you can really justify top level research, it's not going to happen. But if you would have the freedom and be sustained by the internet, then all of that would suddenly become possible. And that's something that almost no entomologist on this planet has. It's basically unlimited potential to do whatever you like. And that's, I must admit that I am interested in this idea. But for that to happen, I would need to have like at least 10 or 20 times more subscribers than I do right now. And it's going to be really difficult. In fact, it may never happen in my lifetime. I'm lucky to have what I have right now, but I don't think insects are going to attract as much as attention to grow that big. That being said, I could give it a serious try anyways, because I have nothing to lose anyway. I'm already on YouTube, so yeah. But I feel like a lot of people on YouTube, after finding success on the platform, you know, they don't do anything with this. It's not even about the money, it's also about the influence, you know? And I hate most influencers, people who have this entitled self-importance, that think that they are a big deal because they make videos and people are watching them. Who cares? That does not make you more of a credible person, but it is a privilege, because in this day and age of the internet, I feel like many voices of reason are being drowned out. And the internet is designed in such a way that if you have many subscribers and followers, that your voice is heard more than that of other people. I mean, if you were a top level scientist, and many people are still going to disregard your opinion, but when a politician or a popular pop singer tweets something, suddenly you have millions of people sharing and liking and discussing the thing that he tweeted. So in that regard, social media is really power. It is not money, it is power. It is influence and power. It really is in this day and age. And I regret the fact that so many people waste this power by making questionable, weird content, by just being dodgy people. I mean, think of all those big people on YouTube out there right now. What good are they doing for humanity? What things have they achieved? What are they doing with these with all this money and influence? Well, I don't pretend to be better than most people. In fact, there's nothing morally wrong with supporting yourself. Hey, if you are successful, dude, if you can make a lot of money, please go and enjoy it. You're not obligated to do something good with it. In fact, to shame people for being successful is also a disgusting thing to do. But I am disappointed that there are not many people out there that have such a big following and such a big audience that are using it for, I mean, maybe it's just me because I don't know the right people, but it's such a damn shame. And I would like to be a person that eventually could put all this, well, power, I guess, all these resources into studying what I love, and that's insects. Because imagine being an entomologist that can go wherever he wants, that can study whatever he wants, that could even perhaps crowdfund his scientific project. Think of that. But not only that, you also have influence, you know? There's so many biologists out there who are bringing issues, environmental issues out there to the world, and nobody is listening to them. I mean, it's disturbing how many biologists there are and trying to risk their lives by exposing deforestation, by exposing corrupt governments that pollute and destroy the environment, by overfishing, by poaching, by hunting, or just trying to fight the ignorance there is among the people when it comes to our important environment, our nature that we should protect. And when they speak out, nobody listens to them. Why is this? I would just like to be one of the people who does have their voice heard. Not just because I'm a narcissist that enjoys the attention, although I admit I enjoy the attention. But it's not about me, it's also about my message, you know? For example, take this new series I had on YouTube called Biodiversity News, where I talk about current environmental issues. It's because I want to push these ideas into the world. People need to listen and understand. And it is sad that people need fucking YouTubers to be exposed to this. But the truth is, most people don't read the news anymore. It's all garbage, it's all fake, it's drama. And on the internet people have no clue, because the internet is such a big, massive bomb of information. It's like people are overwhelmed and they don't know where to look. And a lot of people are being misled. That's why a lot of conspiracies are returning to our society. It's because people don't know who to trust anymore. It's because they have been deceived and lied to by the media. So they go on the internet, where they are also being deceived and lied to. But this time not by the media, but by the average people like you and me, who decide to become influencers or YouTubers. And some of them are not spreading the right ideas or information. So that's where I would like to stand. I would like to stand out and bring awareness to the things that are important, at least to me, to the environment, and that help protect and gain more knowledge about the insects that I love. And I also realized that something is really weird, because you know, if there's a lot of poaching, if people are killing rare pandas, there will be an uproar. If Japan decides to kill and eat more whales, which are critically threatened, and the whole world is in a big uproar. So if something happens to a popular animal, then everyone is mad. But when insects are being destroyed and eradicated, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit if you destroy the habitat of some of the world's rarest insects. And that's because nobody is speaking up. There are no role models. And that's also, I think, one of the things that I want to achieve is, I don't want to be a role model, but here's the problem, man. All of us entomologists are not organized. We are not organized. I don't care if you love him or hate him, but take someone like Steve Irwin, for example, yeah? Okay, Steve Irwin, he was sometimes, not gonna lie, he was also an idiot at times. He handled some deadly animals quite poorly, which is not a good example. Which was also, by the way, his cause of death, because he tried to pet a stingray. So Steve Irwin was also not a good role model, I guess, but he did something that was wonderful. He united people, he united the dumb masses to fight for one cause. And nowadays, you know, people nowadays have a lot of respect for reptiles and in particular for crocodiles. In fact, there's a lot of animal rescues. If a crocodile gets stuck in a storm drain, instead of just being killed, people attempt to rescue it. And I feel that people like Steve Irwin did play a hand in making these animals respected, making these animals more popular. And basically, what I would love to do is to make insects mainstream. I was also almost going to say make insects great again. At least for the common man. Because it's also a cultural problem. Insects are something that disgust us and freak us out. But they are ironically also the most important animals. A panda looks very cute. A shark looks very badass. And no doubt they have their roles in their ecosystem. But they're not nearly as important as insects, because insects are at the bottom of the food chain, and if something happens to them, yes, then your sharks and pandas are also going to die eventually when the whole system collapses. Yet, charismatic animals have a voice, but insects don't have a voice, and you know why? Because us entomologists are good at studying insects, but we suck at talking to the public. We suck. We are not organized. Why are we not fighting? Why are we not organized under one name? I mean, sure, there are a few societies and nature conservations, like the butterfly societies, the butterfly conservation, I guess, that are spreading some awareness, but they are, I'm not saying they're doing a bad job, but the public relationship aspect is questionable at times. Still not a lot of people care. And it's not about butterflies and moths, it's about all insects. Because that's something I do want to fight for. So to sum up this whole rant, the reason I'm still on YouTube and why I'm interested in growing my channel despite being demonetized is because I want to bring that awareness. I want to make insects more popular, I want to make them more mainstream, and I want to fight for them in their name, but also in your name. Now, you and me probably don't know each other. Maybe you don't even like me that much, you think I'm a crazy guy, and that's okay. Maybe you are right, you are left wing, and maybe I am right wing. Maybe we have a different opinion. Maybe you don't like the way my face looks. Maybe you think I'm a cringy guy who is also irresponsible with his animals. I don't know. But let's look beyond that. It's not about you liking me. It's about you and me fighting for a common purpose that we both care about. And I don't care if you hate me for my political ideas. I don't care if you think that I'm ugly. I don't care if you think I'm obnoxious and a narcissist. The moment that you like insects, then we still have something in common. So I want you to look beyond all the other things that I am, except for someone who just tries to speak out about the things that we both care about. And at least let me do that for you and for me and for the rest. Now I know this sounds like I have a lot of self-importance in me right here, but I'm also self-aware of the fact that I'm just a 26-year-old guy in his basement filming with a camera. I'm really grateful for the fact that you decide to watch my channel instead of that of hundreds and hundreds of other people on YouTube. I'm really happy to have an audience and speak my mind. It's the biggest privilege. But it's because you subscribed and because you are watching this that I started thinking about the potential of all of this. What can we do? What can we do with this platform that really makes a positive impact. And in my opinion, it is speaking up, it's bringing awareness. And there's also the financial aspect of being an independent researcher, an independent biologist, you know? Because if I would find a way that the internet would sustain my life, then I cannot imagine the things that I could discover. So many things that other scientists cannot research. Just something very simple like describing a life cycle of a butterfly or moth. It's very simple. You don't have to be an academic to do it, in fact. But it's still extremely important and nobody is doing it. But if I had the time, I would. I would definitely not live a selfish life with that. I would definitely invest all of it into researching all the insects that I really care about. So, I guess my point is, if my channel were to grow a lot bigger, then I would definitely use the money and influence to like build a moth empire. And not just be an animal hoarder who breeds them. I'm talking about serious research. Because I don't think there are many entomologists in this world, but almost none of them are independent. Almost none of them can do what they want. Almost none of them can research what they want. So if there was one person who could do that, and if that were to be me, then I definitely think that would make a positive impact. And it saddens me just to think that so many YouTubers are just clickbaiting, living a selfish lifestyle. I know it sounds really narcissistic to say this and to imply that I'm better than all of them. But as I said, there's nothing wrong with success. If you are rich and successful, I'm not holding you accountable for the problems of the world. I'm not saying that you are morally obliged to fix them. I'm just disappointed that the public is giving all their attentions to such people. So, I guess I sound a little bit bitter and jealous here. I guess a part of me also is, because I'm just, you know, it's not that I'm jealous, it's just that I'm a little bit bitter. I'm a little bit bitter when I think of the issues and drama that are being given attention, both in the media and online, while the things that I care about are never given any attention. The insects that I care about are never given any attention. I have to be here and beg when thousands of people are watching someone fill his hot tub with custard, or order 1 million Orbeez from Amazon and dump them after making one video. That's disgraceful. So yeah. It is getting a little bit cold in here, so I'm gonna put on my sweater for a moment. There you go, that's better. If you are still watching the video at this point, leave a comment, because I would be surprised if there are people watching me for this great amount of time. But let's continue. So to sum up everything that I said so far, it is not my main ambition in life to just be a YouTuber or an internet guru, but I am going to try to use this platform a little bit more in order to fund my research and my projects and combine it with the things that I do when it comes to biology and my studies of life. So that being said, I was also a little bit disappointed in the things that most of their people decide to spend their attention on. And please don't take this as me complaining, where people are not giving me attention, I'm so much better. Now it's more like, you know, I guess I should have seen it coming, but I feel like a lot of the things that are being highlighted by the internet are somewhat shallow in nature, which is not that surprising, to be honest. I mean, it should be common sense, but nonetheless, I would like to try and change that. So, I mean, how many people are there out there giving things like insects a voice? It almost doesn't exist. So I would like to be one of those people. In fact, on YouTube there's only very few big insect channels, and those that exist are usually hobbyists like me. Like, I know there's an ant breeder, there's a tarantula breeder, there's a mantis breeder with a lot of subscribers. But I feel like that's also different because, you know, they are focusing on their hobby for 100%. And I'm focusing on my hobby for 90%. But I also try to supplement it, you know, by just bringing a little bit of education and awareness. I'm so good, I'm a scientist on YouTube. Nah, but I hope you get my point, dude. So, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, because sometimes it's hard for me to express myself. I wish I was a little bit more fluent in English, so my Dutch upbringing didn't help in that regard. I do have to say that running a channel the way that I do does change the power dynamics a lot, because as I've said, I have a lot of creative freedom when it comes to YouTube. Like, YouTube cannot really tell me what to do now if I'm being sponsored by the people who use my website, who watch my channel, blah blah. But it shifts the power from YouTube to the crowd that basically watches me. Because you do have to understand, when you are when you do a crowdfunding thing, you know, it's important to have some sort of relationship with your viewers. And the moment that you do something that people don't like, they will stop supporting you. For example, if I make a video where I'm an asshole, then people will unsubscribe and stop supporting me because I'm an asshole. And that's different for big YouTubers, because big YouTubers, they are supported by the platform itself. So when they upload something that's really stupid and dramatic, even negative publicity is good publicity for a YouTuber in most cases. Because publicity is still publicity, and as long as people are clicking on the videos, you're probably making a profit, but I don't. So I am being directly supported by people who understand what I'm trying to do here. And I feel like that's a relationship that can also sour, because obviously if I have hateful opinions, if I misbehave, if my channel is starting to derail or, you know, then people, then they can basically directly affect me by choosing not to support me. Like, oh no, Bart Coppens exposed, he's having a negative influence. But it does mean I have to worry more about my public relationships than the average person. Because I am directly connected to my audience, while most YouTubers are not. I am dependent on my viewers. I mean, all YouTubers are technically dependent on their viewers, but YouTube is the middleman here. I have no middleman. So that's definitely something to think about. I think it does have an important function, because if your viewers, if the support of your viewers is directly the thing that's influencing your content, then it means that you have to be well liked. There's a lot of YouTubers who are a little bit of a douchebag, who are not very well liked, but they're still doing well because of their subscribers. But me, if people basically stopped liking me for whatever reason, I would be screwed. That's something interesting to think about. So, and I think that's also important for me, because I'm getting direct feedback from these people. I think it may even be better because, you know, it's like two parents watching over you and saying, Bart, you've gone too far, you've misbehaved. Let's learn from this experience. It's actually you people that can tell me, that can dictate my behavior. So that's a funny thing to think about. Last but not least, here are some tips. Last but not least, here are some tips for all you people out there who are taking YouTube a little bit too seriously, perhaps. Recently, they've done a survey and they asked young children, what is it that you want to be when you grow up? And the results were a little bit concerning to me, because the most popular occupation by far that children voted for was YouTuber or vlogger. So imagine that decades ago every child wanted to be an astronaut. Last but not least, I guess I have some tips for all of you people who take YouTube a little bit too seriously. Recently they did a survey, I think it was in the United Kingdom and in America, where they asked kids, so what is it that you want to be whenever you grow up? And the results were a little bit concerning to me, because imagine how decades ago, how every child wanted to be the president or they wanted to be an astronaut. But the thing that most children are interested in becoming nowadays is becoming a YouTuber or a vlogger. I am not a full-time YouTuber, but I am a YouTuber. And what that basically means that what I am doing, even though I am not the biggest guy here out there, what I am doing to some extent seems to be the dream of the current young generations, and that's concerning. Why do so many people want to be a YouTuber or vlogger? Perhaps it's because sadly nowadays the only way to be relevant is to have a large online following. I feel like social media and online platforms are slowly replacing the way that we interact with each other in real life. I know that sounds like a very boomer thing to say, but it's interesting how that when the internet was new, using all these digital services used to be a privilege for the most wealthy people, and nowadays it's the other way around. The internet is something cheap everyone has to use, but real life interaction is a luxury and a privilege now. I mean, making friends in real life nowadays is actually a privilege and a luxury reserved to the more wealthy people that can afford not to use internet. In fact, the internet is so important nowadays. Not having to use it is a privilege. Can you think of not owning a smartphone? Chances are that will give you serious problems when it comes to your job, right? Your job probably requires you to answer emails, to be online, to answer text messages. If you own a business, you cannot afford to be away from the computer for too long, because customers will make orders online, they will try to contact you, your customer service. So you're bound to the internet. Chances are, if you're a full-time worker, you want to catch up with your friends, you don't have much time to see your friends anymore because you work full-time and you maybe only see them in the weekends. Only way to stay in touch is via the internet. And nowadays it's interesting that it's become a luxury. I mean, someone who doesn't need the internet is basically someone who has a manager or someone who is very rich and independent. And why am I saying this? Why am I saying this right now? Because it illustrates how the internet has tangled up our lives. And the reason many small kids nowadays want to become a YouTuber or vlogger or influencer is because I feel like it's the only way to have an identity, the only way to be seen as an individual nowadays is to have, sadly, an online following. And I think that's not a good development at all. Second of all, I want to say being a YouTuber is not that glamorous. I know I don't speak for everyone here on this platform because I'm just a small fry with a few thousand subscribers, and even if I get 1 million subscribers someday in the future, which is not going to happen, but imagine if it did, then who am I? I will still be an idiot on the internet that has a camera. I just feel like it's a way for people to regain their lost sense of identity. Like, wow, now I'm an influencer, now I have an identity, now I matter, you know, now suddenly I'm important, which is really not the case. Second of all, YouTube is a terrible career, kids. If you are a young person watching this, please think of what I'm about to say. Which is sound kind of hypocritical because I make YouTube videos, but being an online personality is a terrible choice of career. When you think of a YouTuber, you probably think of the most successful people on the platform. Probably the 1% that have made it. And while in theory it's possible to become successful on YouTube, the reality is that the majority of people in here struggle. They have burnouts. It's very taxing because us YouTubers are very unprofessional people. We are just regular people with a camera, and getting all the exposure can have negative effects, especially, you know, if you attract a lot of comments, a lot of attention, then there will always be good comments and there will always be bad comments. You will always attract good people, but you will also attract bad people. And depending on who you are, getting a lot of attention, this can be positive attention or negative attention, can have bad effects on your mental health. Second of all, when it comes to money, YouTube is really terrible. I think the biggest YouTuber, called PewDiePie, has 100 million subscribers, but he still makes more money from selling t-shirts than he does with ad revenue from the commercials on his videos. So that's something to think about. Sure, the guy has millions, he is a celebrity, but he is really, you know, he is the biggest one on YouTube. But if you go below that to smaller channels, then you will see that many people are struggling to survive, struggling to get noticed, doing bad things for attention, not being able to pay their bills because people are not watching their videos anymore. You're not going to be popular forever. So if you're popular now, it doesn't mean you can be a YouTuber forever. It's just all a fleeting moment to be in the spotlight for a few seconds, which is really a bad thing to base your life on. So if you are a young person and you're watching this, no matter how much if you like insects, you're probably watching this channel, please go study. Please go study. Please become a zookeeper, become a biologist, become an entomologist. Go to school. And even if you don't want to go to school, then, I don't know, write a book, sell it, do something productive other than being an influencer, because that's really... I will not change my opinion on this, even if I were to be more successful, I would still give this advice, because you tend to think of all the successful people, you tend to forget about the fact that many people just struggle to get noticed here. Yeah. And now I feel like I've made my point, actually. So, I think we are approaching the end of this video. How long has it been, man? I didn't even drink my Monster Energy yet. Nope, I wasn't sponsored by Monster Energy to promote this. I just have it ready in case I needed a mental boost to talk even more. So yeah, to sum up all the premise of this video. 1. I was demonetized because I used copyrighted music. 2. I don't care about being demonetized because I'm interested in the influence and having my voice heard. And also because I'm interested in sustaining myself via crowdfunding, if that's ever possible. And because I think YouTube has a lot of potential. 3, I am very disappointed for the fact that most people spend their attention on some very shallow things on this platform. That is basically the summary of my video in 3, or no, it's 4. I'm forgetting how to count. Number 4 is, don't glorify influencers, take them with a grain of salt. Being on YouTube is not that great as you think it is. It's a lot of work for very little gain. It's not the glamorous life that you think it is. It can also be very stressful to have, so much attention, feedback, comments. You will make friends, you will make enemies. It will change your life for better or for worse. It's a terrible career choice you will not make. If you're doing it for money, then don't do it at all. It's really shitty money, really. It's shit. Just go study. So I'm really just interested in doing all of this because I have a message and I want to spread it to everyone. And I think everyone needs to hear it. So that's it, basically. Last but not least, I think I've been doing well lately. I am developing a number of documentaries. In fact, I've saved up all the crowdfunding that I had from this year. And I'm investing it in literally a few videos that will even take perhaps a year to produce. I'm serious about this. I'm making professional documentaries. And I believe when these are finished, that they are going to give my channel a massive boost. I'm not going to reveal too much because I don't want to tease you with something that maybe still takes a whole year for me to make. But I just want to let you know that, you support me. I like to give you something back in return. I can't give you anything physical. I may not even know who some of you are. But I can make it up to you by improving my content, because you guys deemed me worthy enough to invest all of this time and attention, and yes, money into me. So the least I can do is give you better content and be honest with all of you and just tell you the current status of things. So I enjoy speaking my mind sometimes. It's good to get things off my mind, even when I'm lonely and nobody is there, So, has YouTube changed my life a lot? I think it has a little. But I think in the coming years, it will be a lot more. I've already made friends via YouTube, so it has already changed my social circle, and not online, I mean literally also in real life. I have made real life friends and contacts that found me through YouTube. Have I made enemies on here? Well, I don't have any arch nemesis people, but I do know that some people who found my content are not a big fan of what I do. For the fact that I can be a little bit arrogant and an asshole sometimes, so I get that. Sorry for that. Yeah, some people probably think I'm a negative influence. So overall, the experience has been positive. But hey, I'm just a small guy, and I think when it starts growing more, I'm at the edge. I'm at the breaking point of being a bigger online person. Because the amount of subscribers that I have right now, it's well, I mean, I don't pretend to be a celebrity, but it's starting to change my life already a little. And I'm also somewhat scared of when I think of what it's going to be like if it starts growing, because my amount of subscribers has doubled every year. Last year I went from 2,000 to 5,000. 5,000 starts to feel like a lot. I know it's not, but the way it changes, you know, that people start to contact you, they start offering you jobs. You know, I went to Cambodia to study insects, to work for the butterfly farm. I got that job because these people found me online. So it's already starting to change my life in a lot of ways. By giving me work, by giving me attention. It's a positive change, but it's also an exponential change. And I think I'm just scared of change, because I can't imagine this amount of people watching me still doubling every year. I mean, if next year I'm probably gonna have 10,000 subscribers, I have 5,000 now. Yeah, that's, you know, that's somewhat significant. And I'm not talking in terms of fame, and not in terms of being famous, because then if you relativize it, how do you say it in English? If you relativize it, if you put it in a relative perspective, then 10,000 is probably still, it's not shit. It's nothing compared to the people who are out there on YouTube having millions. But in terms of affecting your private life, it's a lot. So, especially if you are as open as I am and in direct contact with some of the people that watch and follow you, and even working with them in real life. So then in that regard, it's going to have a big impact. And I'm somewhat scared and excited to think of the fact that it may even be many factors more than what it already is. So, I'm getting really tired. It's 5 o'clock at night. Whew. Actually, it's almost 6 o'clock. Okay, forget the fact that I had my ugly own face as a background. And forget the fact that I had notifications from Tinder. Yes, very embarrassing, I know. No, it's not. I uploaded this myself. Oh, by the way, this ugly face in the background here, I did it on purpose to remind myself that I had to go on a diet, okay? So every time I open my phone, I see my double chin. And I'm like, damn, I need to lose some weight. And it's good motivational. So it's almost 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm still just sitting here talking, bored. Don't worry, it's not going to become a frequent thing, but sometimes a guy likes to speak his mind, you know. And now I'm going to end this video soon, but not before I have one more closing message for all of you. And honestly, the final message for you that I have is, I want to apologize. For getting the amount of, well, exposure that I do. I'm not a good role model. Some of my older YouTube content is really irresponsible. For example, there's one video where I handled these potentially deadly caterpillars on my hand. They were the Lonomia electra, the assassin caterpillar. Now, it turns out this particular species was not dangerous, but I didn't know that before I touched them. And some of these species have known to be deadly. And I was fully aware of that. So I think it was really a bad idea to do that and upload it, setting a not very good example. I mean, in the same video I already discussed Mr. Steve Irwin. My opinion of him is positive. I really like the guy for the awareness that he planted for the environment, the public relationship he did for animals, the way that he cared and was passionate. But he was not without his flaws. He was also a crazy, irresponsible person. And I realize I'm the same in that regard. I may not have been a good role model, and I am still not. I'm still somewhat of an edgy guy. I swear sometimes. I say bad things. I also have some weird worldviews, which can be considered a little bit dodgy. I don't think I've shared many of them on YouTube before, publicly. But I am strongly opinionated. But on YouTube I try to avoid politics. I think I do have an odd worldview, but I've done a good job of keeping that to myself. But as for being a role model, I'm not that great of a role model. I do some really cringy things, some clickbaity things in the past. Stinging myself with toxic caterpillars, and you know the drill. I think I even handled a redback spider, Latrodectus hasselti, in one of my older videos. I live in the Netherlands, and this spider does not live in my country, so if it bites me, there will be no antivenom in the hospital. I mean, I can think of at least 2 or 3 videos where I easily could have killed myself by making a mistake. That's why I was bringing up Steve Irwin, because he died that way. He was somewhat the same. I don't want to be like Steve Irwin. I'm just using him as an example, okay? I am Bart Coppens. I am my own person. I'm not trying to be Coyote Peterson. I'm not trying to be Steve Irwin. In fact, the Coyote guy is not someone I don't really like him that much. I think it's a bit stupid. So it hurts me to think that I've been the same and I have done the same mistakes. I'm not going to remove those videos, but I'm going to avoid making them in the future. I've learned from this experience. I will probably never be a perfect role model, because I'm a very curious guy, and curiosity killed the cat, they say. Yeah, I'm definitely one of the guys that can do stupid things out of curiosity, because he has no sense of danger. Last but not least, I'm not a professional, so please, whenever you listen to me, don't take my words as gospel. I am an idiot like everyone else with a camera. Think critically. Please promise me that. Please think critically. And yeah, that's it for today. I'm going to bed. Last but not least, consider supporting me on Patreon if you like my content, because my YouTube channel is demonetized. And I have a job. I don't need the money to survive, really. I'm doing quite well. So if you are supporting me because you think I'm poor or need it, then please don't. But I want you to do it if you like my content. Because being demonetized, it means that YouTube is not helping me grow my channel. And yeah, it's true, making good videos takes a lot of time and money that I don't always have. So by showing your support that way, means you're not supporting me to buy monster energies, but it means that you are also helping me work with insects. So and work with my channel. And indirectly you will you will benefit from this as the content will become better. And hopefully that's something that you like to watch. So the pieces that you see are going to be better. The quality, the audio, the editing, everything will be better. So like and subscribe and consider supporting me on Patreon. But hey, like I said, life's not about money. And I appreciate your viewership, even if you don't, because I understand not everyone is able to do that. And I really like people that listen to me. So if you listen to me today, then you are worth more than money. Thanks and goodbye. Now you know my story.